So, the trailer for the live adaptation of One Piece is finally out. As a One Piece fan, I must confess that I hated the idea of a live adaptation and could not care less about it. However, after watching the trailer, I have to say that it surprised me a lot in a good way and left me wanting to see more. It would seem that they are taking this project very seriously and a lot of love and effort is being put into it. I do have some concerns about it nonetheless, and I want to share my thoughts with you. Stay with me because we are going to talk about it. Roll the intro! Remember that if you like the video, leave a like, a comment and subscribe to my channel because it would help me a lot. Having said that, let's get back to the video. So, One Piece, the best-selling manga of all time. The amazing work of Eiichiro Oda has been captivating fans all over the globe since 1997 with its intricate, colorful and well-developed story. And it seemed impossible to adapt such a surreal adaptation, especially by Netflix. After all, we have seen how they've butchered Death Note in the past. So, it's fair to say that people were not eager to see an adaptation of One Piece, especially considering that most of the content in this show is so surreal and cartoony that a live adaptation would not be properly translated. I was one of them, of course. Therefore, imagine my surprise when I saw the trailer and ended up not hating it, but actually invested in it. Before we praise the trailer, let's get something out of the way. Some of the CGI in the trailer looks bad. And I'm not talking about the giant sea monster or the Gomu Gomu pistol, but rather this ship and cannonball. There's my nitpick. With that said, I'd like to point out something interesting. When the cast of One Piece was announced, I was happy with the selection because of all the actors seemed fit for the role. The only casting choice I thought was a bit odd was Zoro's character portrayed by Makenryu Arata, but not because of the actor per se, but because of the character he is supposed to play. Let's not forget that Zoro is a complicated character to adapt not only for the attitude, character traits and of course, the green hair. But because Zoro is imposing, silly and overall well written. But when I saw the trailer and Zoro appeared on the screen, I was positively shocked because I actually saw Zoro in the flesh. In that regard, well done team. Now, we have not seen much of the rest of the cast yet. We managed to see mostly Luffy, Zoro and Nami most of the time, with a glimpse of Sanji, Usopp and Buggy the Clown. What I can tell you is that they look perfect for the roles. Emily Rudd was in my opinion the most perfect choice for Nami when it comes to her looks, and I'll get to Inyaki's cast choice for Luffy. I have something to say about that. Now, all characters look great with very minor differences to their animated counterparts. Sanji does not have the curly eyebrow, Usopp does not have a very long nose, and Buggy the Clown looks a bit creepy. Don't get me wrong, he still looks awesome. These changes are not really a deal breaker for me, because I can still see the essence of the characters and not just an exact replica made by a professional cosplayer. If an actor manages to catch the essence of a character, then they understood the subject. However, I do have certain concerns for this adaptation that I have not seen addressed in other videos regarding this subject, and they go as follows. One Piece is silly, but very serious most of the time. Sometimes they commit to moments that may not be suitable or translated well for a Western audience. An example of this is Sanji, who we know is a pervert. I can understand how, for Western standards, it would not be acceptable to have a pervert in the crew, who would be seen as someone who constantly objectifies women and makes them uncomfortable. But this is a huge part of Sanji's character, because it shows a contrast with his past and the reason why he develops such a necessity to be around women. Therefore, if they keep the essence of Sanji in the show by being a pervert, I hope nobody goes after Task Skylar by trying to cancel him. And if they don't go for this essence, I hope the actor manages to at least provide hints of this trait to keep Sanji's as intact as possible. Another example is Usopp being a coward. Jacob Gibson has been given a very colorful and difficult character to play as, since Usopp is a liar, a coward, and advantageous character. It's very obvious that they won't replicate the same exaggerated faces that Usopp does in its animated counterpart, but Usopp needs to be an over-the-top coward, that's for certain. This is a foreshadow to his development later in the series. Next, we have Nami, who is the character that will set the bar for this season. For you see, her character in the Arlong Park arc will define the tone of the series. Even though there were already tough moments in the show so far, it is here where One Piece shifts its course and slaps you in the face with the phrase, "This is where the shit gets real." So I truly hope they show her energetic, easy to irritate and gritty personality to contrast her tragedy in this arc. I do have my hopes up for Emily Rhodes' performance. Zoro, as I said before, is a very difficult character as he will eventually become the vice captain of the Straw Hats. He needs to be very serious, adamant, cold and really silly a lot of the times. He needs to be the unintentionally funny character of the show for Zoro to work. Oh, and the badass of the group, let's not forget the obvious. Buggy the Clown, portrayed by Jeff Ward, looks intensely creepy and scary, but Buggy should be clumsy and ridiculous as well. They sold me on the looks of the character already, so we can only hope for the mannerisms and over-the-top personality remains intact as well. And this is another important factor for the show that needs to be kept intact. The characters need to feel and be lively and chaotic. These are personality clashes that should indicate they don't function as a team, and yet they do. I have seen some seriousness in the trailer where everyone takes themselves a bit too serious, but at the end of the day, the crew needs to be outlandish and cartoony. It's what gives One Piece the contrast between the comedy and the drama, making the serious moments even more impactful. And that leads me to the main reason I was sold on the show for one single character, Luffy. So what do I have to say about Iñaki Godoy's performance? Well, Mr. Iñaki Godoy, I just have this to say. Bravo! Bravo! If anyone in the crew is more over the top than anyone else, is Luffy, a character that is juvenile, light-hearted, enthusiastic and energetic, whose energy is spread very easily among the people he meets in his journey. I am getting ahead of myself for assuming this, but the trailer alone managed to show me a young Luffy with a spark in his eyes, a bright hero brought to the flesh and bone through his unorthodox way to see the world, unapologetic and charismatic, whose expression seems gentle, heroic and kind. You understood the subject to perfection. And regardless of the result of this show, I just want to see your career and everyone else's careers flourish from now on. For your passion and dedication to the roles matches only the one from those who are enamored with art itself. It's too soon to say that this show will be great or execute marvelously. If anything, Netflix has had a rough time adapting popular franchises over the years, and this could easily not be the exception. The same way, it would also mean a new strategy for the future. Me personally, I wish for the show to be good because it was done with a lot of effort and passion, and that kind of project is the one that deserves to be praised the most. If Netflix manages to provide a good quality product for a franchise that seemed impossible to adapt to live action, then we can hope to see more products of good quality for the future. This is not me trying to convince you that it looks phenomenal or that it's going to be great. This is me expressing my wish for this adaptation to do well and to push the boundaries of what can or cannot be adapted, setting a new standard for the future. So there you have it. That was my honest and humble opinion. And I would like to read yours. Will it be a good adaptation? Will it be a bad one? Do you think the trailer looks good or bad? Let me know in the comments because I want to see your opinion. This has been Final, and again, thank you for watching.
Take it from a man that looks like he has seen Matrix too many times.